Here we go, another Bears minicamp edition of Hoge and Jahns, just without the Jahns. The Fishman is back. He's ready to go. He's got pages and pages of notes on Trevor Siemien's first few days with the Chicago Bears.
He looks good.
How do you know?
I didn't see him throw an interception.
That's true.
Can't say the same about the other guy.
Yeah, that's also true. But one guy actually threw passes, so kind of increases your chances of throwing interceptions. We could take this one of two ways, I guess. We could celebrate the Matt Eberflus defense and the emphasis on takeaways and say this defense is going to be taking the ball away at record rates. Or we could spend some time today, if you really want to, breaking down Kenny Pickett, Malik Willis, quarterbacks that the Bears could potentially draft next week to replace Justin Fields. Because it is April and we must overreact to everything we saw in Bears minicamp. That's the only way to do it. No. Obviously, going one way or the other on that one, Kevin, would be an overreaction. But not a great day for the quarterback nonetheless.
Yeah, it's a hard thing for us to balance in our world, Hoge, because we're there. It's our jobs to be there and watch practice and take note of it. And like the offense in 7-on-7 was horrible. There's no other way to put it. And there are, let's go through the disclaimers, right? They did not have a walkthrough this morning, Matt Eberflus told us. So the plays they were running, they had not run before. There was no walkthrough. These are plays Justin Fields has never run, period. It's a brand new offense. It's his third ever practice in this offense, the third ever practice for anybody in this offense. His wide receivers, we all know who he's throwing to.
We do?
Okay. Well, we don't know who they are, but we see that there's guys out there. So all of that's fair. So you make that's statement one. Statement two, Justin Fields had threw at least one interception and a couple balls sailed on him. It's April. It's okay. Probably. Like, you just one of those things, like, you can't ignore it. You can't, like, it happened.
Probably not.
Yeah, it happened. We're going to address it. But, you know, is this the 2019 training camp when Mitch Trubisky threw interceptions every day and Matt Nagy told us it was fine and ended up not being fine? I'm not going there. But, like, you know, it's the way I put it in my story that'll, when people listen to this will probably be up at The Athletic, is I think the number one takeaway is it's a reminder this offense is a long, long, long way to go.
Absolutely. Yeah, well, and that's the good perspective to have. Welcome in. Hoge and Jahns with Fishbain instead of Jahns. Johnsy's trolling us on the old Twitter machine with pictures from the Grand Canyon.
By the way, I want to point out that Johnsy usually deletes his Twitter when he's on vacation. So
he deletes it.
Like, he literally would delete the app from his phone.
Oh, I thought you meant like he deletes his account.
Yeah, no, because sometimes he'll be like, oh, hey, did you see like so-and-so tweet? You know, like, were you, checking in on your teammates while you were gone? And he's like, no. Mike Glennon, no. So I think he posted that picture. I bet you he reinstalled Twitter, posted that picture, and then uninstalled it for the rest of his vacation.
Wow.
Yeah, to up the troll move.
That's a lot of dedication to getting payback, which was fair payback from the Aruba photo. I think it was well done.
Maybe the listeners should tweet at Jahns and see if he's got the app downloaded right now. Anyways, you were giving a nice.
It's that big of a problem that he needs to actually delete the app. Like, I just go on Twitter and I just put my phone in a drawer. Or I mean, on vacation and put my phone on the drawer in a drawer, and you just don't look at it.
Yeah, I don't know. I look at my Twitter on vacation. I think it's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, Who cares?
Yeah. You can follow us on Twitter at Adam Hoge or at K Fishbain, or if you want to tweet at John Z while he's in Arizona, he's at Adam Jahns on Twitter. Please read things that we write. Kevin Johnsy's on The Athletic, and all of Kevin's great coverage, which was really, the work of two men if they were to cover a Bears minicamp. You did that work because the other man was in Arizona during minicamp. So I just want to make sure that's pointed out. So our listeners should appreciate that work and go check it out. theathletic.com/Hoge and Jahns, where you go to subscribe and find that work. On allchgo.com, my partner, Nicholas Moriano, also has a bunch of observations, and I'll have my 10 Bears Things column, Big 10 Bears Things column coming Monday with all kinds of stuff from this week as we lead up to the draft. So there's plenty of stuff for you to check out. Please subscribe on YouTube. Please hit the notifications to know when our episodes go live, and we appreciate everybody who interacts with the show there as well. All right. I think we just need to lay out what the Bears are really doing right now. So
yeah, lay it out, coach.
They changed coaches. All these new coaches. I was playing a game today with Pat Finley saying, how many coaches can you actually name right now? It's tough. It's tough out there. So I wonder how many coaches some of these players can name, that aren't their own position coaches, right? So they've been there for 3 weeks, even at Hallis Hall.
Yeah, in and out.
So whatever communication they could have ahead of time, probably get a copy of the playbook, some homework assignments before they entered the building. And then, here's a new offense, here's a new defense. And it's not like they're working like the season where you're in there pretty much 6 days a week from sun up to sundown. Okay, these are shorter days. It's not every day. A lot of it's lifting. And after a couple weeks, they get presented this opportunity to go out there and have mini camp and practice some of this stuff. But they are so early in the installation phase, right? And whatever calls and checks they're making, they're literally installing it and then going out there and expecting it to translate to the field. Day 1 of minicamp, they didn't even go offense versus defense. Day 2, they did a little bit. Day 3, they did a little bit more today. But as you made a good point, Kevin, is Matt Eberflus pointed out, they did not have a walkthrough this morning. So whatever was new in there too didn't really get practice or walkthrough before they actually went out there and did it. Nonetheless, while you'd expect some struggles, today definitely qualifies as one of those practices where you're like, okay, those concerning throws or whatever are starting to pile up a little bit. Is it a big deal? I don't think so. I don't even treat it as a big deal, honestly, Kev, when we're in August in training camp. Like, bad days are going to happen. The defense is going to win some days. The offense is going to win some days. It gets concerning, like when you brought up, when Trubisky, it's like a trend throughout camp. And the head coach has to say every single day, we're not worried about it, or this excuse or that excuse. And quite frankly, Justin Fields had days like this in camp last year, and he would usually bounce back with a strong day. You could say the same thing about some of his games. If he struggled in a game, usually the next game was pretty good. So now you definitely want to get a little bit more consistent across the board. Unfortunately, there's no practice tomorrow. So I don't know how it'll look tomorrow. I just hope he's at the Bulls game tomorrow and doing a better job than Aaron Rodgers did for the Bucks last night.
Yeah, there you go. Well, I'll say this, Hoge. What do you remember in terms of staying out, good or bad, from the 2015 voluntary veteran minicamp, John Fox's first week as head coach, or first practice as head coach?
All I remember from that would have been I think it would have been that week. Would that have been the first time Vic Fangio addressed the Ray McDonald situation?
Yes. Yes, it was.
So that's pretty much all I remember from that.
I'd like to see him get his hands on more balls.
That was the offseason that the Bears, the Bears hired the best coordinators in the entire hiring cycle and then didn't let us talk to them for 4 months.
Yeah. And both of them became head coaches.
Yes, neither here nor there. What do you remember staying out from Matt Nagy's voluntary veteran minicamp in 2018?
Who would have even been the quarterbacks in that camp?
Mitch.
Oh, yeah, Mitch was the year before. Yeah. So Mitch would have been there.
I had to go back and read what I wrote from those practices. One of the days, Prince Amukamara had a pick 6, and that was and we asked Nagy about it, and that was a bit of a story. My point obviously is that we're never going to refer to these practices again, most likely. Now, if Justin Fields turned out to have a rough season, then you want to point to even if that happens, I still don't know if you can point today. Again, you're going to read my article, you're going to read what Hoge writes, you're going to read what Nick writes. You're not going to read what Jahns writes because he wasn't there, but you're going to see tweets, you're going to see stories about the passing game looking bad today, and because we were there and it happened, you can't ignore it. But we also just have to kind of give it some nuance, understand what it was, and just say all right, they've got work to do. This is just a reminder that this is going to take time. Matt Eberflus referred to it today. He was asked about, the challenge for Justin Fields. Just anytime you're learning something completely new, it's a process that you have to go through. This is Justin Fields' 3rd playbook in 3 years. It's his 4th play caller in 3 years because he had 2 different play callers last year.
Yeah.
So, a completely different group of wide receivers. It's just he's got Cody Whitehair. He played every snap with. He played every snap with Cole Kmet and Darnell Mooney. That's it. And David Montgomery. Everybody else is pretty much new to him. He knows Larry Borom and Tevin Jenkins, but he didn't play very much with them. Guess Sam Mustipher, but this is just this is going to take some time. And as you said, if we see a string of practices like these in August, you can have maybe a deeper discussion. In the same way, if we see a string of practices where he's lining up the defense, then we can have the other side of the coin discussion that, hey, everything's clicking, this is working. You can see why this scheme is perfect for him. He's taking that jump.
That's why my goal, Kevin, is to make these mini camp podcasts more memorable than the actual mini camp. But I feel like I failed today because, failed to find out how Eddie Jackson's root canal went the other day.
You David Fails.
I appreciated all the tweets that we received on that yesterday. I don't think we got enough of them, quite frankly.
I did as well.
The root canal jokes were... I was slightly worried, though, that it was becoming too big of a thing, that people were actually going to start thinking that was really what happened.
We still don't know if that... It could have been what happened.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. We failed.
He was talking kind of quietly today.
His mouth's probably... I've had some root canals. They're not fun, but you're okay a couple days later. I had a tooth pulled last year where my one and only wisdom tooth was pulled, which I guess it's weird that I only have one.
Yeah, that is weird. It explains a lot about you, but yeah, it's a little strange.
How does it explain a lot about me? Now you have to explain.
I'll have to tell you in another podcast.
Okay. Now I'm interested in that. Anyway, I was amazed at how easy that was. It wasn't impacted, but they just yanked it out. And there was just a giant hole in my mouth, and then they were like, okay, go home, gnaw on this gauze for a little bit, and then you're fine.
And did you go to practice the next day?
I went to practice later that day because we had...
There you go.
It was September. We had a game. I think we had a game that week for Carmel.
I
think I was at practice hours later coaching.
Well, Eddie Jackson was there today. He was there yesterday. Here,
so take that and think about that for a little bit.
Let me pose this question to you that I posed to somebody today at practice. How many guys that were suited up at practice today on defense?
Yes.
So not Jalen Johnson, not Robert Quinn, not Quan Muhammad. So those 3 guys are out because they were not suited up for practice. How many of the guys suited up for practice can you sit here and definitively say this guy is going to start for the Bears week 1 of 2023?
Oh, so not even this year.
Not even this year.
Well,
I know we touched on this a little bit on the other pod.
Yeah, but you
like,
but you said this year, so now you're talking about next year.
Now we're going to
which
2023.
puts Roquan Smith even in the question because he's not under contract.
I still feel good about him, but like that
Yeah,
was like I was just sitting there watching this defense and being like, because the defense again, I mean, based on what we saw, they had a good day today. But I mean, for 7-on-7 drills, what was it? It was Eddie Jackson and DHC were your safeties. Kendall Vildor and Duke Shelley were your corners. Roquan and Nick Morrow. I don't even know how much Roquan was out there for 7-on-7.
He was out there.
He was out there. Matt Adams rotated through, I want to say. Like,
I learned who that was today.
There you go.
I'm half kidding. I remember when they signed
defense.
him, and then I kind of forgot they signed him, and then I saw him today.
I don't know, I just like the whole 3 days. And again, I know I'm touching on something we talked about the other day, but like the whole 3 days, as I'm watching this defense, I'm like, they need to get a lot of guys on defense.
Yeah, I have to actually say, I think of all the eye-opening things that we saw the last few days, bit of a reality check on that side of the ball, just in terms of the personnel. Now, I'll also say this: I liked what I saw, though. Like
they were flying around, like they said.
They really were all 3 days.
Yeah,
like the hits principle. You could see a noticeable difference in the, I guess what the hits principle is. The hustle and the intensity, and we saw takeaways. I guess the smart part is a little bit harder for us to diagnose in practice, but
it's fast. I mean, like they're like, Nick Morrow's fast. Like that's his calling card, and like you can see that, especially in shorts. Like you see something like that in a practice like this. But yeah, from a personnel perspective, I mean, there's just a lot of work to do.
I'll say this too: the offense is slow, and by that I mean, and this goes probably to the, installing a new offense, running it for the first time. Like I was joking at one point today, like good thing there's not a play clock because there's delay game every single play.
A lot of delay game penalties today. Yeah. I think they would tell you that they're okay with it because they want to make, like, there was one point where like Fields went to the line and then he gave the huddle sign. They literally went back and re-huddled. Mm-hmm. And I'm guessing that's something that they like. They'd rather them make sure they all have the right play. They know where they're going as opposed to wasting a rep on a play that guys aren't on the same page. But yeah, that was there. But I kind of want to circle back to Eddie Jackson though, because he talked to us today. And when you look at that defense, and our friend Herb Howard asked him about kind of being the X factor, and you can see when you look at the personnel on defense, like we talk about how important Roquan Smith is, like you could see a world where like Eddie Jackson really needs to play at a high level for this group. Like they need him if they're going to be a successful unit. Like you look at that secondary. Again, I know there's going to be more guys added, draft free agency, but if Eddie Jackson's going to have a bounce back year, this would be the year to do it.
And it's related to that question you asked earlier about who could be here in 2023. I liked what I heard from Eddie Jackson today. They're just words, I guess, but he, like, one of the questions he was asked was like, he was talking about what he couldn't control. And someone said, well, what can you control? And it was kind of an open-ended question, but immediately he said, buying into this defense and basically going all in. And there didn't seem to be any resistance there whatsoever. And I also liked that he admitted that he did not have a good year last year, because he's pushed back on that. Like in season, a lot of times, we've seen it on social media sometimes, right? Where he kind of pushes back at some of the criticism. But he seemed to acknowledge that didn't play well last year and that this defense could help a lot. He also said that it's simpler. and allows him to just kind of keep his eyes forward and everything in front of him. And he said he liked that. So I heard a guy today who was not resisting a new scheme. And you could come back at me and be like, well, what's he supposed to say? Well, we've heard guys push back on new schemes before. Remember Willie Young refused to call himself an outside linebacker until literally he was out of the building? Like, and that lasted a couple of years because he stuck around. He was actually okay as an outside linebacker. He was like, no, I'm a defensive end.
That question don't make no sense.
There's Willie Young.
I miss that guy.
He was awesome. Jared Allen was like open and honest with us, like, yeah, this is weird. And then he eventually got traded. Right. You know, you could tell the guys who aren't embracing it and don't want to be there.
Well, I think Eddie Jackson also might recognize and acknowledge that he doesn't have much of a choice when you look at his career.
True.
You know, where he's at. And it's okay because, like, that's important to come to that conclusion and to realize his best opportunity is right now with this team and this defense. Like, they're going to put him in good spots. You know, this is a defense that, like, predicates itself on taking the ball away, which is where he was at his best. You know, it's funny, Oak, I actually thought that he played well in the final, like, 5 or 6 games last year. I thought he was tackling better. I think if you look at his missed tackle rate, it went down considerably from 2020 to 2021. I'd have to go back and look at some of the deep balls he referred to that he gave up. I think people who know me at The Athletic, I'm sometimes a little bit of an Eddie Jackson apologist because I just don't think he's nearly as bad as people make him out to be. But he obviously hasn't been as productive as he should be. You want to talk contract, though? If you're Eddie Jackson, the thing you can do that is going to best, fill up your bank account is stay with the Bears for another couple years
and not get cut.
Yeah, because if you get cut, you're get signed by somebody for a pretty low salary. Mm-hmm. So, again, if you're looking at your future and you're Eddie Jackson, you're looking at the next 2 years, your best hope to make money is the money that is, that you can earn in 2023, 2024 if you stay on this contract. And the only way you could do that is if you play well. So, yeah, I'm with you. I thought he was reserved today. He was matter of fact. He gets it. And it was weird too, probably for him. I mean, he kind of downplayed this, but you look out there, he's the only one from the 2017 draft class still here.
Yeah, it's crazy.
He and DHC are the only ones who played for John Fox on the defense.
Mm-hmm.
He and Roquan Smith are the only starters left on defense from 2018.
Is DHC the longest tenured Bear?
He is in a 3-way tie with
Patrick Scales
and
Cody Whitehair.
Correct.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's probably strange for Eddie Jackson to be out there. And I mean, I know he had his root canal on Tuesday, but I credit the fact that he was there today and yesterday.
See, I'm telling you, this is the thing. It's just.
I'm glad. By the way, I'm glad you chose something as uncontroversial as root canal that we can take and run with.
Yeah, that's true.
Not that you would have chosen something irresponsible, because you're nothing if not responsible.
Would you like to give an example?
No.
To start another rumor?
Not particularly.
Okay. Hey guys, clients demand an instant response, but now more than ever, businesses are spread thin. If you're losing leads from visitors to your website or missing calls that could grow your business, you need to delegate those frontline conversations to the best virtual receptionist service, Smith AI. Smith AI provides businesses with award-winning virtual receptionists who handle your calls, chats, and texts to unlock new business at a fraction of the cost of hiring an in-house staff. Smith AI is not your average receptionist service. Since 2015, they've combined the best receptionists across North America with AI technology for superior business communications and customer engagement. Their friendly and professional agents can screen leads using your custom criteria, schedule appointments on your calendar, and call back leads who complete your form. Work uninterrupted, run your business with less stress, and get more leads from your marketing efforts. Smith AI pays for itself and then some with all the new clients their receptionists help you win. Never miss another lead. Boost revenue, increase your focus at work, and keep your staffing costs down. It's as simple as forwarding your calls to Smith AI. Plans start at just $240 a month. And our listeners will save $100 when you sign up using promo code ADAM at smith.ai. Visit smith.ai to read 5-star reviews and be sure to use our code ADAM to save $100 at sign up. Don't let another day go by. Try Smith AI. It's hard to imagine, but spring is almost here. We had a really nice day on Saturday. It felt like spring, and we are so close to feeling that soft grass under our feet. First, we got to get our lawn back. Thankfully, Sunday gets your lawn growing and helps to keep it healthy all season long. Sunday can help you grow a beautiful lawn without the guesswork or the nasty chemicals. Their custom plans include fertilizer and everything you need to easily care for your lawn. With ingredients like seaweed, iron, and molasses, you can feel good with kids and pets being around. Just attach the ready-to-use pouch to a garden hose and spray. It takes less than 15 minutes. Best of all, this stuff really works. And Sunday is offering our listeners 20% off right now. Full season plans start at just $129. And right now you can get 20% off at checkout when you visit getsunday.com/Adam20. That's 20% off your custom plan at getsunday.com/Adam20. Hey, Hoge and Jahns listeners, spring is here, and I want to do a favor for you guys. Just listen to me here. Let Omaha Steaks make it easy to stock up on all of your grilling favorites as the weather gets nicer. Finally, visit omahasteaks.com, enter code ADAM into the search bar, and order the spring grill pack today. You'll save over 50%, plus you'll get 4 Omaha Steak burgers and 4 boneless chicken breasts free with your order. This package has it all, from the butcher-cut filet mignons to the delicious caramel apple tartlets. Omaha Steaks delivers perfection in every single bite, every single time, and back each order with their 100% satisfaction guarantee. Visit omahasteaks.com, type keyword Adam in the search bar, and order today. My dad's birthday was a couple weeks ago. I had the Omaha Steaks going on the grill. The fillets, served them. They were great. Got to go medium rare in my house, and they came out perfect. There's a reason why Omaha Steaks has been the leader of gourmet steaks and food for over a century. No one, and I mean no one, comes close to matching the flavor, tenderness, and value of Omaha Steaks. Visit omahasteaks.com, keyword Adam, and order the spring grill pack today. Can I point something out? People watching on YouTube, I don't know if they agree with me or not. So your sweatshirt, you're wearing a hoodie, and it has like, are those strings or is just like a lining? Yeah, the strings there, but like the lining, the white lining that comes on the inside of how it's open right now, it looks like suspenders.
Oh.
You look like you're wearing suspenders.
Okay.
I like the hoodie, though. It's not a knock on the hoodie. It's just the way it's like you're cropped in my screen right now. It just looks like like suspenders.
You know what's going to happen now is someone's going to Photoshop this screenshot and Photoshop this into suspenders. I'm going to get it in my mentions tonight.
Well, now they definitely are.
Yeah, that's true.
If they hadn't thought of it already, now they definitely have.
Yeah, I did see somebody thought. I usually wear a hat when I do these things because if you had the lack of hair that I have, you would wear a hat all the time too. Somebody
get
said
you a Hoge and Jahns hat.
Yes, I do have the winter hat actually.
Okay.
Somebody said that when I wasn't wearing my hat, the football above me looked like a man bun.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess if you were
slid
over a little bit more, I could see that happening.
Yeah. That's signed by the 1969 Bears.
Nice.
Not a good team.
So Ed O'Bradovich is on there?
Yes. He's like, there's very few signatures that you can still make out.
My guy.
My great uncle got it, I believe, from Sid Luckman, and gave it to my uncle, who proceeded to play with it in the yard immediately.
Oh.
So the signatures are very, very faded on it.
I have a story like that too. and my dad's going to hear this, and I don't know if he's going to get mad about it or if he's going to accept the blame for it. But I have I still actually have the glove. I should probably put it on display here behind me because it's still pretty cool. Like my original glove from when I was a kid. And I gradually had people sign it because I would take it to games. I was one of those people who brought my glove to a game all the time, right? So that was the glove I played baseball with, and then I would take it to the game, and then I get his signature. And eventually, some good signatures got on there. I think it was signed by Ryan Sandberg. Harry Carey signed it at some point. But my parents kept letting me play with it. Why would they let me do that? Give me a new glove.
So can you make any of them out still?
Not really. There's a couple. I want to say, did Scott Service play for the Cubs?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he's signed. I think he's maybe one of the ones you could. I got to pull that out. I should have it on display here. And also bring the glove out too.
Anybody from the 1984 Cubs that did not actually make the World Series sign it?
Well, Ryan Sandberg was on the team, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
no. Yes, he was. Yes,
he was. Santo signed it too.
Oh, there you go.
I'll look at it at some point. Yeah. But I just you talking about that football and playing with it made me think of that.
You know what? I think we are achieving your goal. The podcast will be more memorable than the minicamp practice.
I think so. I think it definitely has. I also think that photo that Dan Weeder took today made it memorable.
Did anybody win your contest?
Yes. So for those of you who missed this on Twitter, Dan Weeder somehow noticed. I did not notice this even as I was on Pat Finley.
Where's our friend Patrick Finley?
Myself and you all happen to be on our cell phones during practice. And I usually will step away from the practice field because I just don't, it's just, there's so many rules and stuff. I'm I don't want it to look like I'm on my phone, just relaying whatever's happening in practice. So I went to the parking lot. You went to the parking lot. Pat's just standing right next to the field, basically. But we're all standing in a line, and Dan Weeder noticed it and took a photo of it and tweeted it. It is kind of funny.
He called it, what do you call it, cell phone alley?
Cell phone, yep. Phone call alley.
Phone call alley. Because, we were directly in a row. I was on with Dan Bernstein, 670 score. And you were on with?
So I did a impromptu contest. I said free Hoge and Jahns shirt from our friends at Obvious Shirts for the first person who can guess who I was talking to in the photo. The answer was
Olin
you got to
Cruz.
guess. Oh, you already saw it. Did you already see it?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
Was
it was
right?
not Olin. Olin's on vacation, maybe with Adam Jahns for all we know.
All right. I'll give me two more guesses. Jalen Johnson.
No. Where is Jalen Johnson, by the way?
We're not going to get into this again.
But come on. It's still his birthday. It's his birthday week.
Third guess.
He's like my wife. You get a whole month.
Jason McKee.
Yes.
Nice.
Correct. That was the correct answer. And I have to say, the person who guessed it correctly and will be getting their shirt, we've already set it up from our friends at Obvious Shirts. All the merchandise is up. Check it out. Got it within 30 seconds. I was impressed.
Wow.
It was the third or fourth response.
Was it a Jason McKee burner account?
Mm-hmm. I was kind of wondering if he would respond.
Oh,
and if he guessed it, I would have given him he would have been eligible to win. I would give him a Hoge and Jahns shirt for sure.
Shout out to Obvious Shirts because I straight impulse immediately bought that Wrigley Field clock sweatshirt that they now have.
I haven't even seen that one yet.
Yeah, it's like the green of the scoreboard and it's just the clock at 120.
That's pretty cool.
I saw it.
I have to say, even as a Sox fan, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought that was I went ahead and grabbed that.
Am I wearing I'm wearing the JD
Yeah.
Obvious shirt right now. I wasn't even sure. more times than not in the winter, my undershirt is an obvious shirt under the whatever sweatshirt I'm wearing, or
they're very comfortable.
Pullover. That's the thing. They're extremely comfortable.
By the way, I'm going to probably do this a lot, not just this season, but forever, because we all love JD and we all miss him. But I just had his voice in my head today at practice, like thinking, guys, they're awful. You can just picture, him just there. And then he would be obviously giving, then he'd be like, guys, I'm leaving. Parker's got practice. I'm out of here. I'll see you at the draft.
Or like that first time Fields led whoever it was over the middle who would have gotten killed by a safety in real life today.
Yeah.
I could just hear him going, uh-oh. Like just something like that. Yeah, that's a good point.
Darnell Mooney had a couple nice catches today.
Darnell Mooney, still good at football. Also, liked his attitude today. He's still playing the disrespect card.
Yeah, and he's always, like he's wired that way. David Montgomery's wired. Like these guys are kind of like they're the type of wiring that Ryan Poles loves, Matt Eberflus loves, any football coach would love, and they want to keep getting more of those guys. Problem is none of those guys that they have are like perennial Pro Bowlers or play like quarterback yet. I think Fields, personality wise, is absolutely wired to be that guy. Yeah, I wrote yesterday. I was like, Roquan Smith, Dave Montgomery. You'd love to have 30 of them, but you also would prefer they play like left tackle and edge rusher.
Yeah.
Maybe. Instead of running back and inside linebacker.
Yeah. Well, look, and that's the thing about Fields. I guarantee you he is not happy that that's how the mini camp ended. And it's going to maybe that's a good thing, because it's going to just piss him off.
Yeah, no, he's going to be, and he knows it's all going to be on Twitter. It's already on Twitter. People are writing about it. And like, again, we're all putting the caveats on it. Like we all understand why it didn't look good. We're not making we're not jumping to conclusion about what it means for him. But, like he's competitive. He's going to look at that and say that like he's going to be upset about how the practice went.
You know how he can bounce back? By showing up courtside to the Bulls-Bucks game tomorrow night.
Or what if he showed up to the CHGO watch party?
Oh, that would be even better.
Yeah.
Maybe you could do both, because we are going to be at Third Rail Tavern, which is really close to the United Center. So
there you go.
Thank you for bringing it up, though. Yeah, if anybody wants to come and hang out tomorrow night, the CHGO Bulls squad, Matt Peck, Big Dave. By the way, their show last night was hilarious. That was another reason why I'm so tired right now is because even when the game ended, which I was not going to stay up for the whole game, and then I did because it was such a good game, then it was so exciting and fun that I had to turn on the CHGO Bulls podcast, which was live on YouTube, and those guys were so fired up.
The highlights of their reactions in game to things are good.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
It did get me thinking if somebody put a camera on me during a Northwestern football game.
Yeah. Or me, a camera on me during the Briar.
Yes. I saw that curling was on.
We did have curling on one of the screens. And I did not do that, actually. I do not know why it was on. That was not me. But actually, I will be at that CHGO Bulls watch party tomorrow night, too. Looking forward to it. So if anyone wants to come by Third Rail Tavern, 7 o'clock, we'll be watching the game. So, you can, I guess, swing by before or after. But if you're not going to the game, you can also just hang out with us and watch. And should be a good time. Looking forward to that. I don't know. What else?
What else? Go ahead. I'm listening.
Is he listening to this podcast?
Oh, no, I don't think so.
What else? Bears had some offensive linemen in for tryouts today.
Okay.
Julian Davenport was one of them. Kind of an interesting name.
Yeah, I know that name.
Played for the Colts last year.
Okay.
As we talked on the podcast, they need more offensive linemen.
Yeah.
I'm working on my big board right now. Big board's going to be out Monday at the Athletic.
Nice. Okay, a Bears big board?
Yeah, it's kind of tough because normally what Jahns and I would probably normally do is kind of break down like all the guys in play in the first round. So that, you would talk about a big board of maybe 10 guys. And then we would update it leading into rounds 2 and 3. the Bears do not have a first-round pick, so it is.
They don't.
They do not. So, and they also have like 27 different positions of need. So but you know what? Because we got Dane Brugler, I'm giving people a big board, a lot of folks to consider for Friday, which just means that the Bears will end up taking like a running back and somebody that Dane has pegged as like a 7th round receiver.
Yeah,
who won't be on there. But yeah, check that out for Monday.
The last thing we should actually sneak in right away is our guy.
How's everyone doing? This is Nick Foles. Just entered the meeting.
He entered the meeting located in Florida. I think one of the photos, it says Miramar, so I'm assuming that's where he is. While we were asking about Nick Foles and how he's probably never going to be a Bear again, he posted photos from a family vacation. Good for him. I think he's the real winner of Bears minicamp, along with Adam Jahns and Olin Kreutz. All people on vacation. You and I apparently missed the memo.
Yeah, I was invited on none of those vacations. I think Nick Foles had not tweeted in more than 2 months, and he decides to coincidentally tweet that he's on a family vacation minutes after Jason Leisure asks Matt Eberflus about Nick Foles' standing with the team.
Gonna go ahead and say that's not a coincidence.
I love it. I think it's great. And yeah, I don't blame Nick Foles at all for his choice to be at a family vacation.
No, good for him.
Yeah.
I wonder where he's going to play next year.
I know where he's not going to play next year.
Washington, D.C.
What will, when we, in 10 years, when we do another athletic like Bears quarterback project.
Yeah.
And I get Nick Foles on the phone. What game?
What question are you asking me?
Yeah, like what game will we kind of talk about? Like what's going to be like? What's like the most memorable part of like the Nick Foles era?
I think the Seattle FU game.
Oh yeah. That's. I wasn't even thinking about 2020. Yeah, that's
in the snow, just like couldn't that even be the backup.
Yeah, the final drive.
Just sort of randomly on the roster all year. Then he gets asked to play, and he MFs everybody.
Yeah.
Just goes BDN all the way. Score, wins a game.
I was also thinking, remember his post-Panthers Zoom press conference? 2020? Didn't he like have this like very passionate...
Oh. He was good. I feel like all his post-game press conferences were pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, his best moment's probably coming in relief against the Falcons, leading the unlikely comeback. But for some reason, I always remember the Seattle game as well. All right, we got to get out of here. I will tell you this. Next week is draft week. We are ready. I mean, we are ready to deliver for you. We're going to have a great draft guest that I don't want to give away yet early on in the week.
It's not me.
Ryan Pohl. We should have you on, though, since you're going to have the big board.
Yeah, we could talk about the big board.
Ryan Poles talks to the media Tuesday ahead of the draft. There's the Brian Piccolo Award, too. So it's going to be a busy early part of the week as well. And then, as we always do for you, during the draft, we will have shows to talk about what the Bears do and what they don't do. So, get excited. It's draft week. I love the draft.
I love the draft, too.
Absolutely love the draft. I'm starting to... The pro pre-draft thing's starting to get a little long, but once we get to the draft weekend, it is a fun time. So I'm excited for that, and I hope you are too. Please follow us on Twitter at Adam Hoge, at K Fishbain, at Adam Jahns. Find us on YouTube, subscribe, hit the notifications. We may go live. We went live last year after they picked Justin Fields. So if anything goes crazy with the draft, we may go live. So be ready for that. Hit the notifications. You'll find out about that. Also follow us on Twitter. And then check out our friends at Obvious Shirts, since we talked about them so much. T-shirts up, hats are up. The Walking Bear snapbacks are great hats for the summer. Please check those out. And, we'll throw some more free stuff out there like we did today as well from time to time. So, all right. Kev, thanks for pinching in this week. Great job. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
And we'll talk to you next week. NFL Draft Week. Talk to you then.
See ya.
Anyway, who cares?